All right, we are camping at Paso Picacho Campground. As we always do, I'm doing a review of the campground. We're gonna go through the rules first, and then I'm gonna go through the pros and cons of staying here. Always important to follow the rules here. I'll go through these pretty quickly, but as always, if you guys wanna see more on these, they're down in the description of the video below, so make sure you check that out. Pretty straightforward. Number one, vehicle parking. Park only in designated campsites or day use parking spaces. Noise, really quiet hour after 10 p.m. Generators may only be operated between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. Quiet hours after 10 to 6 a.m. Speed limit, drive 5 to 15 miles per hour within the campground. Pets, dogs must be leashed at all times, not allowed on trails. I'll elaborate that in a little bit. On leash, they may be walked on the Cuyamaca Peak Fire Road. Keep pets in at night and never leave them alone at your campsite. Fires and firewood, you just gotta be really careful out here, right? The whole point is that this place has been burned before. Just have to be really careful, make sure you put it out before you go to sleep. You know, pretty straightforward here. Bicycles are restricted to the pavement and approved trails. Please pay attention to the signs and read the maps to stay on legal trails. Helmets are required for persons under 18. Ride cautiously. Yield to hikers and horseback riders. Loaded weapons basically says they cannot be here at all. It says weapons that are unloaded may be kept in vehicles if they are rendered temporarily inoperable or packed. So something to make note of. Plants are protected. Do not kill, break plants to put them into the fire pit, anything like that. All plants here are protected. Do not hang anything from shrubs or trees that may cause harm, such as lanterns or other flammables, hammocks, or other heavy objects. Make sure you're careful with those. Organized games, cause resource damage, or disturb others are prohibited. Camp hosts are here to collect fees and provide public assistance. They are at the beginning, so at the very entrance, I should say. Make sure you talk to them if you want to know anything about anything here regarding the campground. Checkout time is at noon, and for reservations, I'll leave the link down below, but you can also call them 800-444-7275. So those are the rules handed out at the front, and now I'll cover kind of the pros and cons of staying here for a weekend getaway. The pros, so bathrooms are not pits. They're not the best, but they're not the worst. There is a little bit of light. There is running water. There's actually cold and warm water. A little bit of warm. It's not hot. It's just warm. But something important to note. They're not the cleanest, but they're clean enough compared to what we've seen. Hiking. There's a ton of hiking nearby, right? You got Cuyamaca Peak. You have Stonewall Peak, Stonewall Mine, Marty Minshaw, Middle Peak. Oxenita, you can drive over to Laguna, Anza Borrego, you can drive it to Julian. There is a ton of outdoor stuff that you can do around here, especially if you're into mountain biking. Head over to Mount Laguna. Lots of great trails over there. Glamour. You can actually rent sites here with an actual wooden cabin. So make sure you check that out. It's pretty sweet. So if you want to do a little bit more high-end camping, if you'll call it, you can definitely do that here at Cuyamaca Rancho State Park. Some sites are more spacious than others. We're at site 12. Definitely a good amount of space between us and other people. For the most part, I think it's pretty average. Like, it's not too close, it's not too far away. In the summer, I still recommend you guys bring a canopy because it does get hot and you want to be away from the sun, but there is a decent amount of trees, so you can kind of see if you can hide yourself under some shade. Better than other places I've seen, but still would still recommend you bring that canopy. Also, I do think it's important to mention that the campground does include a dump station, drinking water, and hot showers. Now for the cons. There's really no food options. If you're here, I mean, you can drive over to Laguna, which is a bit of a drive. There's that new pub, which, you know, I called them yesterday. They said they close at 8. I showed up at 7. Oh, our kitchen's closed. Bruh. Fantastic. Other than that, unless you're driving back to Julian or all the way down to Alpine, there's not a lot of options. So something to keep in mind. The other thing is, even though there's a ton of hiking nearby, their dogs are not able to go on the trails anywhere in Cuyamaca Rancho State Park. So if you bring your dog with you, that may be something you consider. You can drive over to Laguna, Julian, etc. to take your dog with you. But if you want to like stay here and do Stonewall right in the morning or something like that, you got to figure out what you're going to do with your dog. The last con here is really the road to get here. So regardless of whether you're coming up through Ramona or through the 8, the road up here is windy, so it's something to consider if you're coming like really late at night or something, or just at nighttime. Just be a little bit extra cautious, a little bit extra careful. It's a bit of a windy road, and I've seen plenty of folks get car sick that I drive up here with, so just something to keep in mind. Other than that, I had a really, really good time. First time we ever did car camping because it got that cold. It snowed a few days ago, so we kind of came prepared to camp in the car for the first time, but it's been really enjoyable. We spent the day in Julian, we did some hiking. Would really recommend that you guys come and stay, you know, the long weekend, whatever it is. We'll end it with just some B-roll around the camp and things that I enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next week.